If you've ever struggled with any type of mental illness or, physical pain even that you haven't got an answer for yet, and just struggling with extreme depression of some sort, then this definitely would be a video for you. You're not alone, and if you're a person who considers yourself any type of expert in the field, this video is especially for you. There's an underlining message to this, and this is getting ridiculous. I'm beyond frustrated. And I can say, honestly, I've done more than most people to draw attention to the fact that there's been nothing but injustice. And if you think for a second that I'm wrong, I would challenge you to use the resources you're so privileged to have to start doing some further investigation. So after this piece, triggering videos. So on one side, if you're on the side of struggling yourself, know the videos that are going to come after are triggering. However, the irony is that's how you'll see our souls related and connected. The base of the programs that I created that I'm not helping anyone with. My own programs are what I've put myself in, that I was kind of pushed to watch the videos, learn, experiment with, and that's why I don't fit into the box, ironically, of the quote-unquote help that has failed me because I started doing self-help work at such a young age. They did a lot of damage to my life. However, the faith component is that somebody's going to pull it together, but they haven't. And it's beyond disappointing, and it's injustice, I know right now, that is keeping me this ill. And anyone who thinks, if you're watching and you think I haven't or I'm not continuing to try and do everything I possibly can to still continue to get help and still testing this, you'd be very wrong. And it's beyond ridiculous. And right now, I have to say, I have suicidal thoughts every day. And that is from the injustice and the help who thought they could help. So that's why you cannot help me in a traditional way anymore. And I'm honest when I talk to people, but I have to be careful in what I say, because the issue right now is complete lack of trust. And the extreme loneliness I feel. I have a lot of options. Yeah, I could be around people, but that's exactly it, the damage. So the type of person that I'm, so if you're a person who you feel the way I feel, where you don't trust anyone, the irony is you have to learn how to trust yourself and your judgments. And that's the hard part. So that's even to the people that consider themselves educated, would have to understand the other side of, that's why your patients don't trust, is because it's somewhere in their life, the betrayal has come from that lack of trust. Okay, well, trying to build trust, but now I'd turn it around and say the people in these positions are the ones who have completely broken that trust, and then the people associated with that. So, have good days and bad days, but they're just getting worse and worse. But overall, I'm better in my mental clarity. So at least I know that. And that's why I say, to turn this around, if there was justice, I wouldn't be in this depression. That's the irony. But it has to work itself out. I also have to heal. But the physical and mental pain and all of those things, I know I spend time. I have a day, it exerts my energy being around, because I have to give people the best of me. That that's how I want to show up. That's the pride component, and that's why I'm ironically so good at presenting something else. And I've done that my whole life. I just had to understand that. Then that's the disconnect, like a dissociative personality disorder, except it's more that I came into my memory and into my body after so much trauma. And that's the difference of it almost taking it into the body. So the pain, you have to understand that pain and where that takes your brain, and let that pain work itself through. And that's part of the healing process, and it has to almost cleanse out of you. And it is a forgiveness process, that's like, because it's like, I know I'm consumed by anger. However, I don't take it out on other people. So that's another irony in this way. It's like I've been diagnosed with all these personalities, which I could see that's my talent. But the irony is, I learned in looking back, it's because I'm so good at navigating around dangerous people's personalities. That's why my personality changes. So the irony is, the people with the personality disorders are the ones who never got diagnosed. and the narcissism in that, and the lack of justice, and that's the anger part that I'm holding on to. But you have to release that. So you have to forgive for yourself, not for other people. Otherwise, you're going to be held prisoner, which I understand. But when you can't focus because you don't have the skills, well, that's where my brain is so consumed. Oh, like the things I need to do to get out of this. That would be the structure. Well, those are skills I've never had in my life. That's the irony. Those are the people that I would be surrounded with that had those skills. Well, I had a different set of skills they benefited from. They took from me and haven't given back. So there's an anger and frustration in that. So it's like, how does this cycle end? Like, I've been waiting constantly, even just to get, like, and people who think, anyone who's ever ignorant enough to say or think that there's proper help, just, I'm calling you out now. That'll be we're going to call the trivia game, that you need to do some more investigations and work if you're that privileged to make a comment like that. I'm just going to say it, and you're welcome to, like, you cannot change people, so it's fine, right? Like, I don't need you to like me. I really don't. I'm really calling people out here. So I'm going to start to put the next piece of videos in different timelines, and I would suggest, if you are so privileged to me making those comments, that you start doing some further investigations. And the irony is, I know people don't care unless it has some relation to their own life. So if you really have resources and you really think you're something special, get to the bottom of that statement. And then maybe you'll change your perspective and figure something else out, because everything somehow is connected to something else. So it's your personal development trivia game that you need to begin. Well, at least this girl sent a message. So for the police, I received this letter to my business and found it unsettling, and I plan to bring it to the police station. So I just wrote back, well, I'm very sorry you feel that way. Our founder is a victim of rape, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and trauma. I'm writing this from the company. They don't need to know it's from Candace. She was mistreated by our medical system in Canada and founded the company to help people because she never wants anyone to feel as lost and abandoned and alone as she did. I still feel that way, for the record. Manipulation, narcissism, control. You can see I have volunteered to show you my life on a micro level, so you could see how this works out economically on a macro level. And since the majority of us in this program had ADD or ignorance, either or, claiming to be a doctor and an expert. Well, if you actually looked at everything, you would see that this is a character development. I'm an actor, a performer, and you're actually taking the time out. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. I am a scientist. I'm allowed to do that how I want. Nobody's allowed to make that claim. And these are characters. It's Saturday, and it's been months of not having a driver's license, which has made me literally a prisoner in a pandemic. And for anyone to not understand that, well, that would be sick in itself. I knew I would have to go back to the hospital to get over my fear of the hospital. Depression is misunderstood because, quite frankly, the doctors don't know what it is. It's September 9th, in 2020. I just am so broken. Nobody. What has been done to me by our system? This government, these doctors, this is fucking horrible! They ruined my life! Going to the hospital was the worst thing I ever did! People don't get help there! Now, I'm in fear all the time, even hearing that. I'm like, the hardest thing to what I ever wanted, like I have to like seeing a mother and a daughter and working together and having a good relationship and creating beauty is my biggest jealousy. Not only because I haven't had a mother who has been a mother, and because all I ever wanted was that with my daughter, and that was taken from me. My heart is just ripped apart every day. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. But I don't get on my pity parties much, but that's my why. So it's a jealousy for sure, but I understand that. I won't project hate on somebody for that, but that's my envy. And it's amazing. I look back and I was such a critical mother of myself because I just never felt that I was good enough because other people were in my head. However, looking back, how much they put me through, how I never got to be a mother, how much pressure they put on me was all the illusions of the things in their head because I wasn't doing what they were doing. So mental health documentary, documentary of injustice in the government, documentary of people giving power to the wrong people, people seeing, using their own fear and insecurities to gain leverage and screw up other people's lives. So I take a very strong stance on the fact that, you don't get to control a person's life and decisions and all that just because. I'd say February of 2020, but that you wouldn't have seen it as a depression. I'd say when I didn't really realize that at all. If any, I guess I'd be considered more what they would call manic. So to the outside world, just I looked normal. Then I went into a hysterical kind of thing and went to the hospital, but I still, to me, I'm making jokes, I'm being entertaining, I'm at an elevated state of busyness. I was just high functioning is where it first started. I'm currently freezing right now. I find that my body's gone through a lot of detoxing, I guess, in the last, so it's September 20th right now, 2021, and this process started February 2020. So, solid, but it started a little bit before that, but I was hyper, so to a normal person who, and I say a normal person, meaning somebody who hadn't been through extreme trauma like I had in my life, that I had buried down for so long, that kind of put me in that thing. And then trying to do too much, and then really it's things having to get worse before they can get better. And I feel like I've been on a slippery downward slope. As much as I look back on the last 4 years, how much I've developed and what I've done, there's a lot of work there. But because there's not results, and I've only lost in my real life, that is contributing to the depression. I start my day by saying thank you, and I end it by saying thank you, and that's all I got is one day, every day. He said, oh, I'll do for you, but then he resents me or different things. And that's where this has come from. When it's you're my wife, or it's ownership or different things. But it's I was never doing any of those things for anyone else's attention. His attention was, this is what I wanted. I joked, I was oh my God, the dog gets better attention than me. And I was actually getting jealous of a dog. I'm what the fuck's going on? When I first started putting my stuff out there of talking about my story and sexual abuse, and this was just in posts of talking about my abuse or different things, and it was the traditional way you start posting, right? Post, story, picture, story, whatever. Problem was that what I attracted was too many people needing my help, and I didn't have the right system for it. Especially when people become very needy and then they're on you. Then it's detrimental. It goes back to the taking. And that's the balance, right? So that's why, as a person who was abused, who wants to help, which I genuinely do, I have to have that balance of flow of, okay, and that's what the internet's for, so that you can help. And then, but also it attracts the people who want, like, and you can filter out the people who are like the takers, who just want, like, yes, they were abused. That sucks. I was too. But there's the difference between the people who want to get well and who want to stay sick. And that's what I had to understand. Because the ones who want to stay sick, oh, fuck, that's the crabs in the bucket. And that's what I had to get away from, too. And that's another very dangerous thing. The crabs in the bucket. Because especially when you look like I'm healed, like I'm not healed. We can see, look at me yesterday. I'm not healed yet. I'm getting there. But how that pulls you down and everybody wants to take. And currently, as of March 3rd, 2022, that's why I can't get ahead, because of how you guys are pulling me down. I'm still Mary.